Every now and again, we meet people who make us look like saints. But even a saint isn't immune to infidelity. Makes you wonder if the good guy always does come last. Let's talk about that today on Our Space. OP's wife of 13 years cheated on him with a coworker. Caught my wife of 13 years cheating with a coworker. Just here to get straight to the point. My wife and I have been married since we were 25. We are now 38. We met in college, got married, and everything has been great. We both graduated, got good jobs, and started our lives together. Me and my wife both made good money, so money was never an issue for us. My wife worked for her dad's small business while I worked for a very large company. After a few years, my boss left the company out of nowhere, and they needed someone to take over. The only person who knew how to run the department was me. So I got a major pay jump, better bonus, better benefits. The works. So, at 28, I was making probably 3 times plus more than my wife. At 28, the same year, my wife gave birth to our first daughter. Then, 2 years later, our second. My wife, due to working for her father, was able to be more diverse in working. Well, around 5 years ago, my father-in-law passed away unexpectedly. That left my mother-in-law and wife in a hard position. Sell the company or run it themselves. My mother-in-law had no clue how to run it, so my wife said she would do it. After my wife took the company, it did just as well as when her father ran it. With that being said, my wife got a huge pay increase. More than me. I was proud of her. Going from a basic worker to running a whole company isn't easy. Anyway, our daughters started suffering from not seeing their parents. Me and my wife discussed one of us staying home. She said, "The company you work for will be fine without you. Mine could go under." I agreed, so I quit my job and became a stay-at-home dad and husband. I do everything. I make sure the girls are all taken care of. I cook, clean, fix things, make sure errands are run. You name it. I pamper my wife when she gets home from working. This went well for a while until about a year ago. My wife was always very appreciative of what I did and loved it. She's become very mean lately. Like just saying things like, "Do you do anything?" Or, "How about you work for real?" What? I work my butt off every day, making sure you don't have to lift a finger when you get home at all. Also, I had a real job, but I quit to raise and take care of the girls, our home, and you. Not to mention my wife is very sexual. Always has been. She quit initiating sex, and when I ask, she is never in the mood. That was very odd. Eventually, I quit trying. I just thought, with all the pandemic crap and everything else, she was just very stressed and it was getting to her. I started trying harder to make her happy. Nothing ever worked. Last weekend, my oldest had a softball game. So, I get everything ready and we go. During the game, I wanted to take a video for my mom and dad since they live in another state and don't get to see my daughters out often. I forgot my phone, so I asked my wife if I could see hers. She had been attached to it all day, so it would be good for her to get off of it. Anyway, she hands it to me and says she's going to get a drink and a snack. She gets up. I video my daughter when a message comes up on some app. I check and I can't even fathom what I see. My wife and this guy from her work, who is 8 years younger, are sexting and sending video and pics, talking about how great the sex was, and then me. He is saying how I am some wimp who can't get a real job taking care of his women, and my wife agrees with him. I couldn't believe the crap I saw. I was so devastated and angry all at the same time. I heard my wife coming back, so I closed the app and started videoing. On the ride home and when we get home, my wife tries to talk to me and I'm not in the mood. Eventually, we lay in bed and, for the first time, I guess they hadn't met in a while, tried to have sex. I tell her I'm not in the mood. She says, "If you are going to be a witch about everything, you can sleep on the couch." I got up and went to the couch, and now have been there since. I don't know how to move forward with this. I really just don't know where to start. My wife was my everything. My girls are my world, and all of that is dying. Any advice would be wonderful, as I really effing need it. Edit. Should have mentioned, I did send screenshots of the conversation to my phones. I do have the evidence. Tell her immediately. Bring it up then and there. Tell her exactly what you found and how you feel. You're more of a man than this guy ever will be. You've sacrificed things to take care of your own family. Drop her and let her be with someone who won't ever understand what it takes to be a good dad. Update 1. Hey everyone. I want to thank you all for the advice you all gave. First off, I do have the text, pics, videos of everything. Second, I don't have any of the company. It is 50-50 between her and her mother-in-law. Third, I can't sleep in the bed. I have been sleeping in the guest bedroom every night, and that is where I will be staying. To answer, I have decided to divorce her. Anyway, this morning I called a firm in another town to avoid anyone finding out. Thankfully, they were able to get me in this morning, and someone had canceled. After dropping off my girls, I drove over there. To make a long story short, he's a very good lawyer. I showed him what I had. He said that luckily for me, with the evidence I have, she will be pretty much screwed to the divorce. Seeing as I quit my job to raise our girls, she is never home. She is having an affair. Prioritizes this man over me and my girls. She will lose very easily. He basically said we will get child support, alimony, I will keep the house, and she will have to pay for it as long as my girls live there. Also, he stated that we could even try for more money since I am considered no longer viable in the working world, to help me pay for more education to get a job. Some of you are right. He said not to work until after the divorce is over. He said since you are the husband, if you have a job, you can lose a lot of this. He asked if I wanted full custody. I said, Dad, I don't mind my wife seeing her girls on the weekends every once in a while, but I would want mostly full custody. He said since she had an affair in the marital home, I can basically do what I want. Since he stated bringing over a strange man over to the house puts the girls in danger and makes her guilty. So, I will be going for full custody where she can get weekends once, maybe twice a month. No man will be allowed around my girls, and if there are, she could face problems by me if I find out. I just don't want that piece of crap around my girls. He eventually said to keep quiet until after the draft is ready, and then he will issue someone to serve her and have it issued that she is required to leave the home. He said he should have it done sometime next week. He asked me just to keep quiet. He said I know it is hard and you are upset, but just shut the hell up until everything is done. Once the divorce is over, you can say whatever the hell you want about her, but until then, keep your mouth shut. He said act as normal. He said no fights, no issues, sleep in separate beds, and no sex. I said no problem, but why? He said trust me, just don't do it and do as I say. I just got home and have started getting ready for dinner and acting and being normal. I will be acting as if everything is okay until she is served next week, as I can only make 2 updates. Yes, I actually read the rules on here. Any more will be on my page if anyone cares. Thank you for all the advice and some very harsh words. And to the one guy who asked for my wife's nudes, just no. It seems all you have to do is ask her, and she will send them, so it isn't that hard, it appears. Quick edit. He recommended I get an STD test, plus a DNA test on my girls. When I asked why, he said, it is pretty rare incidents like this are the first time they have happened. So yeah, that effing hurt to hear, but scared the hell out of me. I guess that's why we hire lawyers. They talk us off the ledge and have our best interest in mind. I wouldn't be able to stay so level-headed. I'd rampage. I'm sorry, OP. You truly are the best of us. Update 2. Hey everyone. I just wanted to thank you all who sent me good messages over this period. I have been feeling down and things have been rough. To preface, I have talked to my lawyer about these posts. I didn't go into too much detail. They did tell me, though, as long as I keep them brief and not super specific, that I can post. But I just have to be careful about what I put on to not lead too many details. That is it. So, for a quick update, like I said, we'll be brief and not too specific for legal reasons. We will start with a test. I was able to get an STD test on myself and a paternity test on my girls. I came out that I thankfully have no disease and I am clear. Since I have been pretty much sexless from her for the last year, I wasn't all that surprised. Now for the one that I am sure most of you are wondering, the test on my 2 girls. Am I the dad? I will always be their dad regardless of the results. However, I'm here to say that, yes, I am their biological father. I have never been so happy to know that I am their dad. Never thought that I would have to question it, but here we are. As for what has happened with soon-to-be ex, well, she is out of the house and I have been granted full temporary custody. In the future, maybe a while, I will go into more specific details. However, for now, she is out of the house. My lawyer set everything up for me to get my girls and make sure that we legally handled her being removed from the home. It wasn't pretty, but details for another time. She was served at work, and from what I know, it wasn't pretty. Like I said though, details for another time. My girls know what is going on. My oldest knows we are separating, and one of her friend's parents split for the same reason. She has seen what happened with her friend and doesn't want us to split. She has been crying for me to let mommy come home. I will be letting them in with the child therapist to explain and help them understand from direction of my lawyer. My youngest just wants mommy to come home and misses her. It kills me. It makes me feel like a terrible father. And they probably hate me now. Sometimes, I think I should just let her mother cheat on me to keep the family unit to make my girls happy. I just can't do that. Sometimes I think about talking about allowing an open relationship and we can just wait till the girls are older. But that won't work for me. Plus, I know the girls will pick up on it and will not like it that mommy and daddy don't love each other. As for my ex, she is living with her mother at this point. My mother-in-law had called me and asked to meet. I agreed and we will be meeting at some point. She didn't ask for details, as she said we will talk later, but begged me not to take her granddaughters away from her. I said, you are a great and loving grandmother, and as long as you can separate my girls from what is going on between your daughter and I see no issue with you being able to see them, and I will not take them out of your life. She thanked me, and that is it. My ex has been trying to call me and text me, trying to figure us out. Under direction of my lawyer, he has had it set up so that I can talk to her through a trackable method, and it is purely about the girls. No more, no less. So, that is it for now. We'll probably keep updating, and once this is all over with, I will make one big update for all the details I have to be careful about as of now. Thank you. A bit too late to figure us out, sweetheart. Should have thought about that before she banged someone else and made you feel less than. Update 3. Hey everyone. I thought I would give everyone a small update on some stuff that has happened. So first off, I had Thanksgiving with my soon-to-be ex and mother-in-law. I did this purely for the girls and made sure with my lawyer this was only about the girls and not about reconciliation. That was taken care of. First, I have met with my mother-in-law pre-Thanksgiving. We met and had a pretty mutual discussion, mainly just things about how we will handle my daughters after. My mother-in-law did tell me some stuff about my soon-to-be ex. I guess my soon-to-be ex was cheated on by her high school boyfriend. Didn't even know she dated anyone. I guess this guy came from one of those families, according to my mother-in-law, and I told her to avoid him. Well, I guess one night she caught him with his head under another girl's dress and tongue deep in a girl's jewelry box. Why my mother-in-law couldn't believe she would do this. She had a couple of boyfriends they met in college, but she knew they wouldn't last. She said that as soon as she met me, she found her son-in-law. Says she is so sorry for her daughter's actions and will make sure that she doesn't try to do anything problematic with the divorce. Anyway, a couple of days before Thanksgiving, my mother-in-law asked for me to come over for dinner with the girls. I said, will she be there? She said yes. I said I can't with her there. She said she understands, but asked if we could put on the holiday one more time for the girls. She said, I know you have a lawyer. Ask them, and if they said it is a bad idea, I get it. I did, and they said tell your wife via the app this is purely for the girls to avoid any confusion. So I did. She had contacted me before about coming over. She has been begging me to see me, and the girls. The girls have been begging to see their mom. I swallowed my pride for my girls, and we went. It was awkward. My soon-to-be ex gave our daughters a hug, fine, then tried to hug and kiss me. I just avoided her and went to give my mother-in-law a hug. My soon-to-be ex tried to act like husband and wife and was trying to talk to me. I answered with yes and no's and helped my mother-in-law finish dinner and cleaned up. My mother-in-law is religious and wanted to do a prayer, and my soon-to-be ex-wife sat next to me. I held my daughter's hand, my wife tried to grab mine, and I pulled away. I knew it may seem petty, but I don't want her touching me. I am an atheist, but out of respect for my mother-in-law, I go along with it. Dinner was fine. Again, soon-to-be ex trying to act like we are going to be married and asking about Christmas and vacations I guess she wants to take with us as a family. When she mentioned this stuff, I knew it going over was a mistake. We finished dinner, and I pretty much got up, cleaned my daughters and I's dishes, then was ready to go. My daughters wanted to watch a movie with their mother we always watch. I let them, and my soon-to-be ex tried to cuddle next to me on the couch. I sat in a chair after that. My mother-in-law was very mad at my soon-to-be ex the whole night for how she acted. I could tell by the looks she gave her. Movie ended and we started to leave. My daughters fell asleep, so I carried them to the car. Went in to grab something, and my soon-to-be ex grabbed me in tears, begging to work on things, and that she wants to be a family, and is so sorry for what happened,